If you're tired of using the 4-2-3-1 meta formation, hit the like button down below, baby. 4, 1, 2 and 2 wide. Got me feeling spacious like a limousine ride. Like 4, 1, 2 and 2 wide. Got me feeling so good I might just cry. 4 and 2 and 2 wide. We don't mess with narrow. It just gave me new life like bone marrow. I can attack fast, Chevrolet Camaro. I be getting rage quits, haters acting aggro. What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy, One Star Weakfoot, and we're back for another episode of the Pay to Elite series. And just like the last 2 weeks, we're going to start this episode off on my friend's account, and we're about to open a Serie A guaranteed team of the season SBC. The last 2 weeks have been very rough for this particular SBC, and I'm hoping this week, with all the options in Serie A, we pack something really big, or even something usable. Like I would take a Correa, I would take a Quagliarella. I really butchered that guy's name. I would take a Quagliarella. Is that how you say a guy's name? I would take that guy. I would take a lot of people from this Serie A team of the season. Just please don't give me Mancini. That's all I ask. My friend needs some help here. So without further ado, let's open this pack. Come on. It's going to be a walkout, of course, all right? So we're not going to freak out over a walkout. We're just going to hope for a good flag here. Come on. Italian, left mid. We're going to get 92 El Shaarawy. All right. You know what? That's not bad right there. I think he's going to like that over there. That's not a bad pull at all. I mean, he does have the 2-star weak foot, I believe, but he has 5-star skill moves, and the rest of his stats look very nice. Let's look at the card, man. All right, I'm kind of happy with that. When I saw Italian, I thought we were about to pack Mancini, and you already know if we pack Mancini, it's a major loss. But we pack El Shaarawy. Oh, they gave him a 3-star weak foot now. That's solid. This card right here is not too bad. He's 5'10". He got the high medium, 5-star skills. Yo, not bad at all. He does have pretty bad long passing, but he does look to have a very solid card. And I think my friend's going to really like this. Now let's head on to my account. All right, guys. So we are back on my account. All right. My friend just got El Shaarawy. Hopefully I packed something decent. I did throw in the Mancini I packed from yesterday's pack opening into this SBC because I know the chances are very real that I will pack a Mancini. Now let's open the pack. Come on. I'm hoping for something really nice here. I'm hoping for something major, something game-changing. Please, no Italian flag. Argentina, CM. All right, we're going to get DePaul. That's not bad right there. You know what? I'll take that. Look at that card. That's a very usable card right there, man. I'm not mad at it. Let's look at the stats, man. Let's look at this card, man. I might just try this card out. Let's look at it. Oh, look. Yo, that dynamic image. That's saucy. I like that. All right. 4-star, 3-star. He has medium, 5'10". All right. Nice pace. Decent shooting. Oh, 98 long shots. That's very solid. Good composure. Very nice dribbling. This guy looks like Bernardo Silva in Argentinian Serie A form. Not too bad at all. Oh, he has 89 strength. Yeah, this guy kind of looks like Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes. I might give this guy a go because I know he's kind of cheap. So I know some of you guys might be wondering how he plays in games. So I'll help you guys out. I'll try this guy out. Now let's move on to the rest of the video. All right, so now let's talk about what you probably clicked on this video for, which is the 4-1-2-1-2 formation wide. I promised you guys I would use this non-meta formation for the entirety of Weekend League, and that's exactly what I did. This formation brings back good memories because when I first started playing FIFA, I think it was the end of FIFA 15. When I first started playing FIFA Ultimate Team, this was the go-to formation for me, and this was the formation how I really learned how to play Ultimate Team. So it brings back memories, and I think that's a fun formation to try out. So let me give you my custom tactics. So what I did in this formation is pretty much play it just like this. I had Benzema and Sterling at striker. I had Goretzka as cam. It's a bit of a weird one, but he did work very well in this position. As my white players, I had Best and Bernardo Silva. Once again, that's a little bit strange, but I'll explain it later in the video. Vieira was my CDM, and oh my god, that card is a cheat code. Just in case you're on the fence about doing him, do him. There's no other replacement for Vieira currently on this game. My left back actually was Alexander-Arnold, and my right back was Team of the Season Cancelo, but I had to sell Cancelo on because he was a very expensive card. I want to do player reviews for you guys, so I had to sell him on. So I just put Dean in here as a placeholder to give you an idea about how I play this formation. Alright, so next we're going to move on to the custom tactics. And when I talk about the player instructions, custom tactics, you're going to understand why I played the way I did as far as like which positions I played my players in. So we're going to go pressure on heavy touch here. The width is going to be extremely low. It's going to be at 3. And the reason for that is if you look at this formation, right? It's a very wide formation. You got the wide midfielders, and the only central players you really have in the midfield are the cam and the CDM. And that's very, very open for my liking defensively. And I'm not a fan of it because I feel like you can get overcrowded very easily in the midfield. So what I did to mitigate that is I played on 3 depth, and defensively it did feel a bit like a narrow 4-1-2-1-2, and that's exactly what I was trying to go for. Because when you bring this width up to 5, for example, look how wide you are and look how your midfield is very open. I'm not liking that. So I put it down to 3. My depth is also at 3. And I really liked how that played defensively. As long as you know how to play defense on this game, you're not going to concede more goals than you should. Offensively, you already know what time it is. I did possession play style. I love how the players make runs in this specific offensive style. My width was on 6. So I really tried to make use of like the width of this formation offensively. And I put 6 players in the box because I wanted my players to attack the box at a controlled way, because I mean I do have them on possession, so they're not going to be all running recklessly into the box, but I did want them running into the box when necessary. I put my corners on 5 because, as Nepenthe has said, this keeps you from being countered on corners. All your players end up in the box, and all the opponent's players also end up in the box, so that mitigates any chance for any corners. So for the player instructions, this is where I did some very interesting things, and this is how I really made this formation work, because I played the beginning of Weekend League and I just wasn't liking how it was playing defensively. So I made some changes, I made some adjustments, and now I really, really enjoy these custom tactics. So for the attack, I made Benzema mixed attack. I made him pretty much balanced. I put him on default for everything because I wanted him to be a link and also playing Sterling behind. So Sterling is on stay central, get in behind, and everything else is default. For Goretzka, we have him at the cam position, but he's coming back on defense to help out Vieira in the central positions, and everything else is on default. The main things that I changed this Weekend League that made the biggest difference was I put these custom tactics on the wide mids. They're on comeback on defense, get in behind. So they're going to be kind of like wingbacks almost. They're going to play as wingbacks in the sense that they're just up and down the pitch all game. But the most important thing I did that really helped save this Weekend League was I put them both on aggressive interceptions. And that's very important because there's a lot of space to cover. When you look at it, look how much space there is to cover on the wide areas. There's so much space. And for you to put them on aggressive interceptions really makes a big difference as far as how much ground they cover and how aggressively they go after interceptions. For Best, I told them to pretty much be balanced. For Bernardo Silva, I told him to cut inside. So that way, I had somebody kind of tucking in on one side, and the other side I had some width. So it was a lot of balance when I played that way, and I really enjoyed that. For my fullbacks, I put both of them. Well, actually, I put Dean on stay back while attacking and overlap, whereas I put Alexander-Arnold on balanced and overlap. So once again, we had a lot of overlaps going on in the right side of the field. We had Sterling, Best, and Arnold getting in behind. So at times there were triple overlaps on the right side of the field, and that really proved to be a very important thing as far as keeping possession and making quick counterattacks. I really enjoyed that side of the field. On this side of the field, we had Bernardo Silva tucking in. We had Benzema kind of being, you know, like a target man type striker. Bernardo Silva would get in behind. Benzema would hold the ball up. And Lucas Dean, if I needed him, I would trigger him. If not, I wanted him to stay back. So it was a very well-balanced formation. I really enjoyed how it played in game. And now we're going to talk about the kinds of players we want in each position. So for the striker position, obviously, just like any 2-striker formation, we're going to want one big man, one small man. And obviously we have Benzema and Sterling here. You can really use a lot of different players as the big man, like any special Jovic. You can even use Quagliarella. That card looks really nice. The team of the season version. There's a lot of different players you can use there. As far as the fast, smaller man, there's a lot of different options you can use. If you want to be ultra cheap, you can use Lozano. For mid-tier, you can use a lot of these team of the season wingers. Like, you could use team of the season Sterling, obviously. Another cheap option you can use in this position, actually, is team of the season Onyekuru. If you could fit him on your team, even on 7 chem, that card is amazing. It's actually amazing. As a cam, what I think you need here, this might be the most important position on the pitch. Because when I first started using this formation, I had Bernardo Silva playing cam, and I had Goretzka playing left mid. It didn't really work out, all right? Goretzka was not the best left mid, even though he does have the stats for it. And Bernardo Silva wasn't really quite big enough of a presence as I wanted to really support Vieira centrally. So I switched them around and this formation really started clicking. So for the cam position, you're going to want a box-to-box midfielder that has a good finish, good long shot on him. And now that we're in the team of the season stages in FIFA, there's a lot of players to pick from that fit this role. I mean, you can use Goretzka. You can use Van de Beek that just came out today. That team of the season card looks very nice. You could use team of the season De Jong. You could use team of the season, like you could even use somebody smaller like team of the season Allen. Or you could use team of the season you could use team of the season. You could even use Foot Birthday Mounier. A lot of different box-to-box midfielders would fit this role as long as they have decent finishing, decent passing, and are able to track back and help defend. That's what you want from that specific position because, trust me, it will save your ass against the better players when you start moving up the ELO ladder in Weekend League. For the wide positions, I do tend to want somebody who can defend a bit. It doesn't have to be the fact that they have really high defending stats. Even defending stats in the 50s or 60s are fine as long as they have the work rates to play these positions. So I have Best, and his defending is in the 60s. I have Bernardo Silva. His defending is in the 70s. And that's really just important because, you do have them on aggressive interceptions. You do have them as pseudo CMs, defensively when they start tucking in, when the depth goes low, when you're playing defense. You do have them playing the CM position, so you do want them to be able to help support your defense. At the same time, they need to also still be able to play as wingers. They need to have the pace. They need to have the passing, the dribbling to operate in the wide areas because they will be your outlets when things go bad. As your CDM, I mean, you can really use any big, medium, high player here. Obviously, Vieira is the cream of the crop, and that's the kind of player you want here. There's a lot of different players you can use here. You can even use somebody like Goretzka here. You can use Team of the Season Witzel. You can use Foot Birthday Mounier. You could use Ballack, like 89 or 91 Ballack. You could even just, if you want to be ultra cheap, use non-informed Conte. Whatever floats your boat as far as the CDM, whether you like a big player, whether you like a small player, as long as they have medium-high work rates, that's what's important. For the fullbacks, I think at this stage of FIFA, you're going to want meta fullbacks. I mean, it is important to have, especially in this formation, because it can be quite open at times during the transition from offense to defense. So the fullbacks, of course, are important. So you're going to want pace, of course, on your fullbacks. You're going to want defending. You're going to want jumping. Just basically the typical things you would look for in the fullback. That's what you want for this formation. Center backs, nothing crazy. I mean, whatever center backs you like to use will work in this formation. Same thing with the goalkeeper. Now let's jump into the gameplay. But before we do, let me give you an update about how we're doing in the Weekend League. All right, so at the beginning of this episode, we are now 16-8, and it's going to be a bit of a tough one to hit gold 1 like we normally do. I did start off again on fire just like I did last weekend. I was 13-4. To start off this Weekend League. And then I went to 16-8, and it was a bit frustrating. There was a bit of, bad gameplay thrown in there. There's a bit of unluckiness thrown in there, but it's Weekend League, and what's Weekend League without bad gameplay? What's Weekend League without bad luck? So yeah, we're going to be 16-8 at the beginning of Weekend League. You're about to find out if we hit gold 1, and you're also going to find out what my thoughts are on this formation. Let's jump into the gameplay. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about in this formation is the offense. How did it play offensively? And in my opinion, this formation is very, very good offensively. I kind of do rated above the narrow 4-1-2-1-2 as far as offense, because I really tend to favor the wide formations in this game as far as creating and holding possession. You know, as you guys know, I am a possession player. I don't really play on the counter too much. I mean, I do sometimes, but it's not really my forte. I am more of a possession, dribble around the ball, pass around the ball kind of player. So offensively, this formation is very good. I feel like it's very well-rounded in the sense that you can play possession like I was doing with this formation, or you could counter. And the reason why it lends itself well to counters is because you're going to have the pacey outlets on the wings running up and down the pitch. They are going to be getting in behind. But most importantly, you're going to have the two strikers and the cam being able to play quick ping-pong passes up the pitch. So a lot of the times when I would try to start a counter, what I would do is take the ball in the midfield, hard pass it, or, driven pass it to one of my strikers, and pass it to the other striker, pass it to the cam. By that point, I would have my strikers running in behind as I would send them on runs. And then I would have the wingers making supporting runs on the flanks. And it becomes very overwhelming for your opponent because at that point, you got 5 people attacking the box very quickly. And it's very difficult to defend. If you do play possession, however, it's also very good because you can hold possession in the midfield using your cam, because in this formation, your cam is going to drop deep in order to bring the ball up. So that's why the cam is probably the most important player in this formation, because he does provide the defensive support. And not only that, he is going to be the one that links the midfield to the attack. So you're going to want to spend most of your money on your cam in this formation, in my opinion. But whatever the case is, you can play possession in this formation because there's so much space. You have 6 width, and you have pretty much the wide players. You have the fullbacks, and you have the 2 strikers that you can pretty much just hold the ball on the flanks, go up and down the pitch that way. And if you're getting overcrowded by his defense, it's so easy to just hit the ball to the other side because you're going to have the fullback and the wide mid as outlets on the other side of the field. And if your opponent decides to overcrowd one side of the pitch, you hit it to the other side of the pitch, you're going to automatically have more players on that side of the pitch than he does. You're going to have the wide midfielder, you're going to have the fullback, and you're going to have the striker all ready to really make a quick attack down that line. So I really find that this formation lends itself well to possession play. I don't really think it has many weaknesses offensively, because like I said, you can make the quick passes in the middle using the cam and the 2 strikers. You can hold the ball using the midfielders. You can make a lot of You will notice that your wide midfielders and your fullbacks will be making a lot of late runs to the flanks to really, help you with the pressure if your opponent's pressuring you. And I scored a lot of my goals once again doing cutbacks into the box, using the wide midfielders, using the fullbacks. And I found it was very easy to score goals with this formation when the gameplay was nice. Overall, I would have to give this formation a 9.5 out of 10 offensively. It's just really my kind of formation. And if you like to play like I do, I think you're really going to enjoy it. All right, so now we're going to talk about the defense of this formation. And I think it's not really the strong suit of the formation, but if you set up the custom tactics like I have, and if you have pacey players all over the pitch, then it will work defensively, all right? Last week, I used a 3-1-4-2. And that was the hardest formation I've ever had to defend in. That formation, when you're caught out, you are caught with your pants down and you are getting scored on. It's no doubt about it. In this formation, you can't get caught out because let's say you push your wide midfielders up the pitch. Let's say one of your fullbacks is up the pitch. Your real support is going to be your 2 center backs and your CDM. And your cam and everybody else will be tracking back, but they might not make it in time. So that's why you need fast players all over the pitch. Your cam needs to be fast. Your wide midfielders need to be fast. Your fullbacks and your CDM need to be fast because everybody is covering a lot of ground in this formation. Another thing you're going to need in this formation that I forgot to mention earlier in the video is you're going to need subs for your wide midfielders because you're asking them to do a lot. You're asking them to go up and down the pitch, get in behind, come back on defense, and aggressively intercept any ball that comes their way. So as long as you have subs for those 2 positions and then maybe 1 offensive sub, you should be well equipped to play this formation. So defensively, the thing that really made a difference and the thing that allowed me to really hold a lot of leads was the fact that I had it on 3 width. So defensively, once I got my team set, it was exactly like a narrow 4-1-2-2. I had my wide midfielders on aggressive interceptions. So anytime my opponent made a bad pass in those areas, my wide midfielders were on it. And even any loose balls that they weren't quite getting to, they would pressure the ball in those areas. And it really worked well. This formation has a lot of potential to suffocate the opponent, because if you have two wide midfielders up the pitch going for aggressive interceptions, and you have a cam like Goretzka that can really defend well, then it's going to be hard for your opponent to really break out of that little press of three midfielders. And it, like if you like to play possession after or press after possession loss, or if you like to manually pressure, this might be a formation that is worth looking into. The cons of this formation, like I said, comes when you lose the ball in a bad area. Let's say you have Vieira, your CDM, you're pushing the ball up the field, and you just lose the ball with him. That can really spell trouble, because if you lose the ball in that part of the pitch, your players are all going to be out of position. They're going to be all pushed up the field, and you're going to have to really defend well with your two center backs and fullbacks. And that's when it really becomes a thing. Like when you get countered in this formation, or if somebody is using a narrow 4-1-2-2 and countering you down the middle, that's when this formation has the potential to get exposed. And you need to really know how to use your center backs, how to use your midfielder to your best advantage to mitigate this issue. Overall, I do have to say this formation defensively is a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. If you know how to defend, then you're not really going to get exposed as much as you would think with this formation. All right, so overall, I'm going to have to rate this formation an 8.5 out of 10. I don't see it very often in Weekend League. I know it was a formation that a lot of people used to use back in the day and they no longer use, but I think you guys should give it a shot if you're tired of using the 4-2-3-1, if you're tired of using the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, and you want to try something new, you want to try something where you can play a different play style, then go ahead, try this formation. I promise you, if you use it to the best of your ability, you will not finish lower in Weekend League. In fact, you might finish a little higher just because you're trying something new, you're adding new things to your game, everything like that. If you made it to this part of the video though, you're about to see that I'm going to hit gold 1. And we're going to finish on 20 and 9, which is exactly what I should be finishing on. That's the level that I pretty much plateaued at this FIFA. I am still going to keep on trying to hit elite while trying out these new formations, because that's what keeps it fun for me, all right? I'm not going to really stop at goal 3 or goal 2 unless I'm time restrained, because I just like to push myself. I like to try to see how I can play each Weekend League and how well I can play each Weekend League, and that's just what it is. So yeah, this is going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it helpful. Once again, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. I appreciate all you guys out there for watching. And yeah, see you later.